Hey toy fans, Aaron here. I know I just did a review of the Power of the Force 2 version of the Rancor with Luke Skywalker, but tonight I just happened to come across my Legacy Collection release, which came out in 2009 as a Target exclusive, so I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at that. So let's head to the table and check it out. And here's a look at the packaging real quick. As you can see, it comes in a big window box. And through that window, naturally, you get a great look at the Rancor, Luke Skywalker standing down on the floor. Great environment printed for a background. So things are looking really good as far as the presentation is concerned in the package. Along the bottom, you got the Star Wars Legacy Collection logo along with the name of this, which is Jabba's Rancor with Luke Skywalker. And then just above that is the Target sticker, since this was a Target exclusive. Left side of the box, that window packaging carries around. You have a notation there stating that this Rancor has what they're calling a Rancor grip. And on the right side, still that window packaging continues. And on the back, you got a great image of the Rancor, the toy that you're getting, holding that Luke Skywalker figure, placed in a nice dungeon environment. Towards the top on the left side, you got a paragraph talking about what's going on in this scene. And along the bottom, you got two other battle packs that are being shown as also available in this time frame. And now taking a look at them out of the packaging. Overall, this really is an impressive looking beast. This is a much improved version over the Power of the Force 2 release. It almost makes that one look like a cuddly little bear that you just want to hug. And this new one that you definitely want to run away from. Height between the two is still pretty much the same. This one's just a little bit taller, but as you can see, it's just got much more detailing to it, a much better paint job, and obviously much longer arms to go along with it. This Legacy Collection Rancor is also pretty much a reissue of the Felucian Rancor that came out a year prior. Different paint job, and this time this new Rancor has the Rancor grip in his right hand. I'll show that off when I go through the articulation. And then one final thing about this Rancor is that there were two versions. The one you're seeing here was the first release, where it's got a lot of white along the back side of the body, and then not long after the release they updated it, got rid of the white, and gave a more even paint job all around. I don't know if I didn't notice it at the time, but this was the one that I've had bouncing around to eventually open up, and the corrected version is what I was keeping in the box. So we're just going to go ahead and look at this one. And as I said, overall, just a fantastic detail and paint job to it. Through the face, certainly looks like a menacing creature. This time around, you are getting an articulated jaw. You move that manually up and down, position it however you want. And thankfully this time, the bone that's included with this package does indeed fit inside the mouth. It's a small thing, but I like that. I like being able to recreate that scene, and you can certainly do that here. Painting inside that mouth really looks great. Nice deep red color to it. A little darker red wash going on inside there. Teeth on the outside are looking pretty nice and white with just a bunch of dark wash around the edges of the teeth towards the top where the, let's call it the gum line. Eyes have a nice paint job going on also, nice black with a little touch of white in there. And then in his left ear, nice metal earring placed in there. This time, as you can see, this is not a molded piece done into the head. So a nice little added touch of detail there. Sculpting for the arms. Like I said, they're longer this time and look very much like you expect the Rancor to look like. Still kind of has that shoulder armor piece sculpted on there. Great detailing to that, nice wash of the paint. And really overall to the body, it's just a lot of the same. Good mix of dark brown, light brown. So all the skin detailing throughout the entire body is looking really good. On the wrist of his right hand, he does have a separately sculpted shackle. I gotta say, I mean, I'd be surprised if it is, but it certainly feels like it's molded styrofoam. At least to the touch, that's what it feels like, but I've got to imagine that's plastic, but I gotta say I am quite confused by the feel of it. Sculpting and detailing to that is looking good with nice silver paint and a dark wash to go along with it. That's very small metal chain dangling off to the side. Claws looking great. I love the painting and the wash going through here. Pretty similar to the teeth. Mix of white and dark brown. And for the main body, that stomach detailing is looking really good. And same for the legs, you know, some good muscle tone in there. And this time around, we are getting articulated feet. So you can kind of pose him around, and you're able to get him standing much better than he was for that Power of the Force release. And then through the back, you got lots of horn detailing for the upper half, moving into those, I guess, scaly pieces down to the middle of the back and into the tail. As for articulation, that head is going to swivel a full 360, and then as I mentioned earlier, you got that articulating jaw, so you can open and close it. And its position holds pretty well. You know, if you bring it open a little bit, it still stays. And for the arms, they are pretty much pre-posed. That spring action, as I mentioned earlier, is the only articulation that you have in each one. But aside from that, you got some swiveling at the top of the shoulder, and that's the same for both arms. Sorry, it's very hard to show this off here. But there we go. So you got swiveling there. Each wrist swivels around also. And then his right hand is where you're going to find that Rancor grip, and you can just bring those hands open. And then if you want to mold those closed, you're getting about that, before the tension pushes back. And then at the legs, you can bring them forward and back about that far. And then each foot is also articulated, allowing you to swivel the feet around and then taking them back about so far and forward like so. So overall, some pretty decent articulation with this. I would like to be able to pre-pose the arms the way I want. I wish they weren't spring-loaded like this, but it is a cool feature. And then as far as the Luke Skywalker figure, this is pretty much a straight reissue of the 30th anniversary Luke. I won't go into that much detail with this figure, since eventually I will review that original 30th anniversary release. But here we'll do a comparison between the two figures so you can see how this one stacks up. Both do come with the bone, and fortunately for the 30th anniversary figure, I've got that one packed away. But as you can see side by side, the figures are looking pretty much the same. It's an interesting choice to include this particular figure with the Rancor, since this Luke has already the battle damage hand. That doesn't happen until later in the movie. But aside from that small detail, it's still a pretty good figure. Painting between the two are looking pretty darn close. It's just a small difference in the hair color and the skin tone of the face. And for me, the painting of the eyes does look better on this Rancor version of the Luke. I don't know, something about the pupils just seem a bit more defined on this version than what was done for the carded release. But aside from that, really, they're pretty much identical figures. And of course, as you want, you can still fit this Luke Skywalker in the Rancor's hand. Bend those fingers around and he will stay, but since the arm is locked into position with that spring-loaded feature, you might want him in the Rancor's left hand just to get a little more closer to that mouth. And here's a look at the bone that comes with this Luke Skywalker. It looks great. Looks like a bone. Nice coloring to it. A little bit of red wash in there to highlight some of the little crevices, some flat spots of the bone. And you have no problem putting that in either one of Luke's hands. It fits just fine in each one. But overall, for me, this really is a great set. And pretty much, I think, all you would want in a Rancor. Maybe, for me at least, maybe without the spring action arms. But I don't mind. It sits on my shelf anyways. And in the position that the arms are already given to us in, it still works very well. The articulating hand is fun, but I kind of would have liked a little more range of motion within it. So certainly, if you need a great looking Rancor, I highly recommend adding this one to your collection. And so that wraps up this look at the Legacy Collection version of the Rancor with Luke Skywalker. As always, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this set in the comment section below, and thank you for watching.